2019, Jamie Lee Curtis said in a Variety article that to call yourself an alcoholic or a drug addict is a badge of honor. She is referencing the process by which an individual comes to terms with being an alcoholic or an addict and how this declaration can combat the stigma attached to addiction. Jamie goes on to say in this article that because the shameful secret, is the reason why it is such a pervasive illness in our industry. That is in every industry, in every socioeconomic stratum, in every country in the world. It is a secret shame that keeps people up in their disease. By declaring one's addiction, an individual not only takes the first step in their journey to recovery, but also sheds light on a disease that is still very misunderstood by the social majority. Addicts are often thought of as junkies or liars or thieves or unlovable, untrustworthy, incapable of success. And although those sentiments can sometimes be true and are often true, I'm here to tell you that addicts can get clean and live a different way of life. I only know this because I am an addict. I'm a recovering addict. I have been clean from all mood and mind altering substances since August 28th of 2016. And by claiming this badge of honor, I have been able to seek treatment for my disease and maintain long-term sobriety. This declaration and my subsequent treatment have exposed me to how rampant addiction is in our society and how many individuals who have also made the same declaration fail to maintain long-term sobriety. I'm here to talk to you today about long-term recovery from active addiction and the reality surrounding addiction, that many suffering individuals that are not steered in the direction of gaining long-term recovery are just like me. A New York Times article in 2018 stated that Philadelphia County alone has one of the highest overdose rates in the country. And even Kensington, a neighborhood that we all know, has one of the largest open-air drug markets on the East Coast. Our immediate communities are affected by addiction at extraordinary rates. So where does this leave us? It leaves us in a space where recovery and healing are more necessary than ever. But the question is, what forms of recovery are best? With recovery being a subjective experience, it is up to the individual to make that determination after their initial declaration. Many addicts have been in and out of jail and rehab centers multiple times. And for others, it could just be one stint in rehab that proves to be effective. So ultimately, there is no way to recover from active addiction that is just one way. However, based on my personal experiences, there is one method that has helped me, and many others find long-term sobriety. That is 12-step fellowships. I've tried multiple methods of relief from active addiction before a 12-step fellowship. And those include therapy and psychiatry and maintenance drugs such as Suboxone and checking into rehab centers on more than one occasion. Those methods never seem to work for me on a long-term basis. An article from 2017 says, "What a success in drug treatment." They argue that the evidence surrounding the success of boot camp style rehab centers is purely anecdotal, and that they believe that success stories must be measured by actual evidence that has gone through rigorous scientific trials and shows that it works, not just for a small number of people, but for the majority of those with a particular problem. Both experience and evidence are crucial for finding the right treatment plan. And there's little evidence that military-style boot camp approaches prove to be effective. In fact, nearly 30 years ago, the drug treatment industry moved away from these types of treatments due to the harmfulness it imposed on individuals. And it is said that between 40 to 60% of people that leave rehab return to drug use. So which program works best for addicts and alcoholics alike? My personal experience varies. I have tried a variety of different treatments. Religious programs did not work for me to maintain long-term sobriety. Interventions never meant anything to me because I cared about drugs and I didn't care about myself or my family. State-run rehab centers are underfunded and overcrowded, and they do provide an environment to establish some source of normalcy away, but what happens after you leave these rehab centers? I was introduced to a 12-step fellowship in 2015, and I did not believe it would work for me, but I was intrigued by the amount of success I saw within the program. Everyone involved thought like I did, they used drugs like I did, and had tried every other route to recovery like I did. By this time, these individuals were seeing long-lasting results. And with every meeting I attended and every step I went through, I began to see true progress on my part. I was growing as an individual and staying away from drugs at the same time. But what are 12-step fellowship programs? They were founded by Alcoholics Anonymous and now utilized by other addiction-based organizations. 12-step fellowship programs are a set of guidelines that outline a pathway of recovery to overcome addiction. How successful are these 12-step fellowship programs? The Addiction Center reports that proving the long-term successes with hard data is virtually impossible, given the nature of these 12-step programs. We are rooted in traditions that these programs are a practice of anonymity. This, coupled with the lack of formal research, provides no hard evidence. However, the prominence of this type of treatment proves otherwise. For the Fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous in the United States alone, there are over 50,000 groups available for those seeking long-term recovery every single day. This number does not include the thousands of other anonymous fellowships for other various addictions. According to Burning Tree, a study conducted by the Journal of Health and Human Services in 2016, they found that individuals who have participated in 12-step programs were less likely to relapse than individuals who did not participate in such programs. This finding is extraordinary, but also not very surprising because an addict like me got clean. While evidentiary data may be hard to come by, the popularity of these 12-step programs, along with success stories from individuals within these programs, indicates that they are clearly effective. Measurements of success, though, they're personal. Only you can decide whether it is successful. Possibly success for you would be to carry out life on maintenance drugs, but not do any other drugs. Or the possibility of finding a religious program and maintain sobriety. There are no constraints when it comes to personal success, and only you can define that for yourself. To me, success was getting off of every mood and mind-altering substance, entering a 12-step program, and maintaining long-term sobriety. And for you, it might be different, and that is okay. Personally, the Narcotics Anonymous 12-step program is the only thing that has worked for me in maintaining long-term sobriety. It has been one of the greatest decisions and commitments I have had in my life. I have fully invested and continue to invest in the 12 steps. I attend meetings regularly. I speak with a sponsor on a daily basis, and I continuously work the steps within my daily routine. Because of this, not only have I maintained my sobriety, but I have also been introduced to an entire community of people who are also in recovery that have my best interest in mind. Do the 12 steps work for everyone? The answer is, of course, no. As stated earlier, recovery from addiction is very subjective, a very individualized process. It is a lifelong commitment to maintain sobriety, and there should not just be one way to approach it. Though the Addiction Center offers this hope. There is no wrong way to approach the 12 steps as the participant tries to figure out what works best for their individual needs. At the very least, the 12-step model provides support, encouragement, and accountability for people who are genuinely interested and want to overcome their addiction. The sponsorship model, as well as regularly meeting times, encourage the kind of social support that has helped countless people stay clean. Ultimately, success within recovery comes from within. The desire to live a life clean of drugs and alcohol must first come from within the individual. The declaration must be made, and the steps to confront addiction must be taken. Whether it be entering a rehabilitation center, attending religious services, or committing to a 12-step fellowship program, it's the responsibility of the individual to figure out what works for them and to stick to it. And although addicts are not steered in the direction of gaining long-term recovery, I fully believe that a 12-step program is the best solution. If it can work for an addict like me, it can work for an addict like you. I used to be homeless, and I would steal from you, and I would lie to you, and I would cheat, and I was untrustworthy, and I was incapable of success. And today, I am none of those things. I am loving. I am a friend, a sister, an aunt, a coworker, among all of these other things. And today, I'm an addict, and I am an addict in long-term recovery. Thank you.